Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I hope your weekend is going well. Mine's not too bad. Saturday night, no boxing on tonight, so I thought I would do a little video and talk a bit about women's boxing, because if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that women's boxing is something that this channel supports. I see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't support it. But I wanted to talk a bit about the sort of chauvinism that continues to sort of prevail in certain quarters. The reason this is on my mind is because I made the mistake, and it is always a mistake, of going on social media and reading a lot of comments on those, boxing boards and Facebook pages and so on. And there's still this, even if you can survive the complete lack of literacy of a lot of the people, who post this rubbish, what they're trying to say is so fatuous that it's almost belief defying. But how shall I approach this subject? Okay, let me take you back in time, because being older, not old, older, let me take you back in time to when I was a little kid, but a pup. And 1975, so I would have been 7, 8 years old. There was a woman called Angela Rippon who she wasn't quite the first female to read the news on national UK television. There was a woman by the name of Barbara Mandrell, I think, who read it once in 1955. But we're talking the BBC and ITV. All the newsreaders had been men. And the fact that Angela Rippon, this young, quite attractive, blonde woman, was going to read the news, shock, horror. They couldn't believe it. A mass debate, missus, was had amidst the media, the mainstream media. Well, there was only the mainstream media then. People were talking about it. A woman reading the news. Can women actually read? Have they been educated? What is this? Is this undermining men? Isn't reading the news a male thing? Hasn't it always been a male thing? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not exaggerating. There was a debate going on. Can a woman read the news on national television? Should she be allowed to do it? 1975 that was. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Let's fast forward 3 years. I think I've got the date right. I think it was 1978. Viv Anderson became the first black footballer to play for the national English side. Not the first person of colour. I can't remember the guy's name. I think there was a mixed race guy who played for England. If you know about, I'm a casual football fan, but if you know about this, correct me in the comments below. But Viv Anderson became the first black player to play for the English national side. Massive debate. Massive. Black person? One of the fuzzies? Played for the England side? Surely not. Oh, the NF were in outrage. The National Front, by the way. We can't have this. To be British, you've got to be white. There ain't no black in the Union Jack. That was one of those disgusting phrases that those of us on the left often had to put up with. And it was said not just by lunatic British movement, National Front, fringe people, but by the mainstream media, politicians as well, There was a genuine debate going on and a genuine sense of horror in many quarters, not from the working class right up to the establishment, that said black people shouldn't be allowed to play football for England. Even if they were born here, even if they had a British passport, did not matter. You're not allowed to do it. You shouldn't be allowed to do it. You've got to be white to be British. Yeah. This was very much a mainstream belief amongst a lot of people. Okay. So let's fast forward now to the subject of women's boxing. Now, Jane Couch, I can't remember the date, 15, 20 years ago? Man, must have been, it's probably more than 20 years ago now. Time flies. She had to take the British Boxing Board of Control to court to get a licence to fight. Women? Boxing? Putting on boxing gloves? Isn't this It's not a male domain, you know. And there were people back then, and there are people now, who actually see women fighting, women choosing to fight, as somehow undermining their masculinity. They often call it the feminization of society, of civilizations. Well, let me be the bringer of bad news, because if you're someone who is scared that your masculinity will become emasculated by women boxing, you never had any masculinity to start with. That ship has long sailed, if it ever existed, if it was ever built. Because there is no way that women fighting should undermine male fighters or maleness in general, male boxing fans, any more than women playing tennis should undermine being a fan of the men's game. Explain to me any kind of logic, any kind of common sense that says that women fighting shouldn't be supported, that they're not as brave as the men. Now, you can argue that the women's game, I think it's actually pretty factual, never mind an argument, but you can say, well, the women's game it's not as advanced as the men's. No, of course it isn't. It's, in a sense, it's getting better every year, and certainly 2021 was a great year for women's boxing, and it's got its stars now, and it wasn't too many years ago that the real professional game was in the amateurs for women, because all the top women were staying amateur because they making more money. But then, you know, you had Eddie Hearn taking on Katie Taylor and building her into a big star, and there were some female fighters in America that became very prominent. And then you had the pioneers, you know, your Jane Couch, Lucia Riker, and Anne Wolfe, Layla Ali, you know, Christy Martin. You know, they sort of got the idea out there. They were, again, the pioneers. But over the last few years, 5 years, the amateurs have turned professional, and the women's game is growing. But it does not have the depth of the men's game by any stretch of the imagination. The quality just isn't as high. Okay, so as with everything, it evolves. And it's pretty early on in its evolution, the women's game. But does that mean that the women that get in the ring are not brave, that they don't train hard, that they don't work hard, that they don't put on entertaining fights? Did you not see a couple of Katie Taylor's fights against Pursoon, or, you know, and the one with Natasha Jonas, or Amanda Serrano, you know, some of her fights? Have you not seen Chantel Cameron fight, or Savannah Marshall? It was excellent. Clarissa Shields. There was a fight, Maeva Hamadouche, and I'm going to forget the name of the woman who beat her. Was that McCaskill? No, it wasn't McCaskill, was it? That was against the Canadian guy. Anyway, my mind's wandering. Old age. The women's game is in great shape, and I say we should support women boxing. Don't ridicule it, you know. Again, if you really honestly feel that women boxing is undermining you as a man, then you ain't much of a man as far as I'm concerned. By the way, can I just point out a few things? Your sister's a woman, your mum's a woman, your granny's a woman. If you're a heterosexual male, you're probably married to a female as well. I hope so. I hope you are. So support women in women's boxing. It's entertaining. Some great fights last year that, you know, I've done videos on them. Check out my previous videos, you know, and then go and watch the fights. Go and watch them. They'll probably be on YouTube, a lot of them. But yeah, it's all action stuff. So I say we should support women's boxing, and that there is no reason not to. Keep an open mind. Not to the point where your brain falls out, but keep an open mind about women's boxing, please. Because I think we should support it. I think it's a growing sport. Lots of entertainment to be had. Entertainment's to be had at all levels in boxing, from small hall shows all the way up to the big stadium fights, and also male and female. It's entertainment, you know. Anyway, that's my rant for tonight. Thanks for listening. I always appreciate your support. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. Go on. It's free. Yeah, I liked the video maybe, if you liked it. If you didn't dislike it, hit the dislike button. I ain't going to lose no sleep. But I thank you for your time anyway. Even if you dislike the video, I thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will speak to you again sometime very soon. Much love to all of you.